Okay, so this is going to be kind of like a review or my thoughts on the Daredevil Born Again series so far, season 1 and 2. I figured I'd do it together because I never had the chance to do the first season. Not born again as in the Christian sense, but, you know, one could say. He has some Catholic beliefs in it, so, you know, it's a good old Christian show. Now, obviously I'm joking. Now, Born Again, this is when Disney pretty much took it over. It's on Disney Plus if you didn't know. And right off the bat, I'd say the first season, it's been a little while since I've seen it, but I still remember for the most part the stuff that's happened. I would say that first episode, it definitely started with a bang, and pun intended, I guess. If you didn't know, spoiler, his friend Foggy ends up dying. That made the season seem like it was going to be pretty intense, and I think for the most part it did a decent job at keeping the feel of the Netflix show. There was a few spots with computer animation that seemed, you could just tell it was fake. I know the episode where there was like robbers in a bank seemed a little out of place to me. I think some other people was complaining about it, if I recall. But that last episode with the Punisher, you know, it was pretty crazy. More violent, and it left off on a bang. Now, the second season. Oh, I will say real quick, since Fisk kind of took over as mayor, I think some people thought in the last season and this season, like, are they trying to make some comparisons to like him and Trump? You know, I don't know. There are some spots that I could see it seeming a little political or whatever, but in the comics, I guess at some point Fisk does become the mayor, so I try not to look into it too much. But with this season, I can maybe see some people trying to say, oh, are they trying to say that his men in this was kind of like ICE or whatever? But regardless, if you just look at it as a comic story, which right off the bat, I'll say I've never really been a big comic book collector, but I do enjoy Marvel movies. And I have had a few comics growing up. I just wasn't a big collector of them. But I have been a fan of Marvel movies ever since Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, and then of course Iron Man and the MCU. I do think that there's been a few movies and shows that have kind of dropped in quality over the past few years, but it does seem like Marvel might be on the right track with this. Now, season 2 recently dropped of Born Again, and I will say, I liked it. I liked it for the most part. The first few episodes, I will say it does kind of drag a little bit, like the first 2 or 3, and it seems like a lot is kind of going on with different characters, but the action and the rest of the story does pick up after that, and I'd say it did a pretty decent job at staying engaging. I kind of liked what they did with Bullseye this season. I think overall, this season had a little more of the same type of feel as the original Netflix show did compared to the first season of Born Again. Jessica Jones does make a comeback in this, and even Luke Cage, very briefly, towards the end. Mostly the interactions between Fisk and Daredevil, and some of the fights or pacing seemed pretty good. And then Vanessa ended up dying, and that seemed like the stakes got even higher. Fisk started to go more crazy, people could see that, the city started to rebel against him, and in that last episode, when all the people started to crowd around Fisk, I thought, you know, oh, is this going to be the end of him, or are they actually going to knock him off and maybe he'll get injured really bad or something? But no, some people may have thought it was a letdown, but I still thought it was a pretty decent ending because, you know, it was unexpected. I thought he was going to end up falling, but no, Daredevil spares him. He just tells him to leave, and he ends up going on his island, I guess, which I don't know how he got away that easily with it, but whatever. And then Daredevil announces that he's Daredevil to everyone. It kind of was reminiscent of the Iron Man scene when he announces that he's Iron Man during the trial of Karen. I thought that was pretty decent, pretty good callback, him returning as a lawyer, but then he just spills the beans to everyone. It's interesting. Daredevil ends up getting arrested, and I feel like that his character's grown and that he's kind of stronger or beyond the point of still dealing with Fisk. So I guess, they're filming season 3 right now. My hopes are, they'll bring some other villains in maybe. Because the Fisk thing, I think, is getting a little old, personally. But I do like this season. I feel like that it was a good callback to that. But I want to see some new stuff. And I will say, it does feel like that there's a potential for him, and who knows, maybe even the Defenders, to make an appearance in Brand New Day, new Spider-Man film coming out. Some people are saying that Spider-Man might play a part in helping to break Daredevil out, and the Hand is already in it, and as you may know, we've already seen Daredevil fight them. So what'd you guys think? Did you guys enjoy it more than the first season? I think I did for the most part, other than I did like some of the stuff with Punisher in the first season. This one seems like more of a callback and more of a fill of the Netflix show, like I said, which I think it's on the right track. I just like to see a little more threats higher than Fisk constantly. People know he's Daredevil now. Seems like the stakes may be higher. There may be more risk, different villains. I'm okay with seeing Fisk again. I just don't think it should necessarily be the main focus again right away, if that makes sense. So, if I would put the original Daredevil Netflix show at around an 8, then I would put Daredevil Born Again Season 1 at a 7.5, like a mid-7, I'd say is fair. Then I would say that Born Again Season 2 is a 7.8. Yeah, I'd say a high 7, pretty close to an 8. The only thing that I think lowers it a little for me is mostly the fact that the beginning kind of dragged so much, had a lot of story about all different characters rather than mostly action or focusing on Daredevil. But, it's just once you get past those first 2 or 3 episodes, then it really starts to kick in. And I think it's definitely a step in the right direction and looking forward to more. Anyways, guys, did you enjoy it? Let me know your thoughts below. Did you like the first season better? Or do you still even like the Netflix show better? I feel like it's pretty close this time around. Are you excited for a potential return of Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, the Iron Fist, or the Defenders, or the new Spider-Man movie, which should be interesting. It seems like they may tie some of this into it. I mean, Frank Castle, the Punisher, is already in it, which that should be my next watch and my next review. The new Punisher, One Last Kill. I want to keep saying reborn for some reason, but born again. Ah!